This is the Paul
Get rid of
Giamatti podcast, and
Paul
I'm so
Giamatti.
happy to have everyone here.
He should have won an
So
Oscar
excited
for Private Parts.
to talk about my new movie. And
how are you feeling since last
people
night?
say since Sideways, what happened to you, Paul? And I say I've just been chilling. I'm just getting those big mailbox checks.
Bro, you were just nominated for the holdovers, weren't you?
I was drunk. I was on Xanax the whole time. People tell me I was nominated. I think it's a fever dream from Sideways most of the time. They tell me I'm nominated again.
Yeah.
Just letting you know you didn't win.
I was in a horrible Showtime show called Billions for several years. Just a horrible
I heard that
thing.
was good.
No, it's not fucking good.
Paul, people tell me that
Showtime.
was good.
How good could it be? It's on Showtime. I mean, it's just one step over Cinemax. And that's not asking.
Did you hear your movie, The Holdovers, has been accused of plagiarism?
I don't give a fuck. Send me that money. Send me those residuals.
As long as the check clears, I don't care.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this podcast with me, Paul. It's
very welcome.
What else has he got lined up?
I've had a bit of a makeover since you've last seen me. I had some hair plugs. I darkened the hair. I got a little taller. I had my shins cracked open and extended and lengthened in Korea. That was extraordinarily painful. But I think you'll find that the difference is alluring.
You look beautiful. It's very nice.
Thank you.
What's your next role? What's your next big thing? What do you got lined up?
Coherence 2.
Coherence 2.
Coherence 2. The whole
We're gonna
team,
do it
are they all
on.
back?
Listen, it's a musical. We're doing it on ice. It's going to be the first musical that Hollywood has done on ice since Mimi Baxter in La Cage aux Snowfalls.
Is it
in
in
1947? No, it's brand new. It's beautiful. It's gonna be thrilling. It's just like when Chicago came out. Remember when Chicago came out? Musicals were back, baby. That's what we're doing, but we're doing it on ice. And none of the actors know how to skate.
Can we get
Do I have your attention?
Yeah, you got me now with that last.
You're gonna want to see this. There's a lot of injuries. There's not a lot of cuts. There's not a lot of edits. But we start the music. We point them towards the ice. We give them the sheet music, and they roll out. And there's just there's a lot of collateral damage and broken shins. But that's art, baby.
Can we get a sneak peek as to where they're taking the story of Coherence in this next feature film, or are they keeping you in wraps on that? Is there an embargo on you?
It's Into the Spider-Verse, macular degenerative intro, nautic. It's like whatever you want. Whatever
you want it to be.
Whatever works with the gummies.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
We work
you
very
can't be
closely.
disappointed. It's your fault if you are.
We work very closely with the cannabis industry to make sure that all of our films align with the principles that people are trying to experience when they're blasting off. So
it certainly sounds like it's keeping to the tradition and style of the first movie, for sure.
Yes.
So while we wait for Coherence 2, let's talk about the first one.
No shot.
I'm not going to talk about
Coherence.
That was such a
boom.
Such a banger segue, my
professional.
guy.
I'm professional.
You can't make me talk about Coherence. Okay,
why not?
I will.
Damn it, I will.
Wow, you're easily convinced, Frag. You could never be an agent. Where'd he go?
Coherence.
Where'd he
directed
go?
by.
You disappeared.
He's right here.
No, you're there.
Listen,
you're
sometimes I do
you
a
walked off screen for a
information. Yeah, because I have computers and stuff, and I'm looking up data points. All right, let's talk about this director, Mr. Bierkit, right?
Mr. James Ward Bierkit.
Wrote Rango. Let's start off.
That's correct.
Wrote the animated film Rango about the chameleon, correct? In the Old West?
That's right.
Is that accurate? Have you seen that guy?
No, I haven't seen that. No.
You didn't do your homework.
It's a fantastic film. But
that's how I cook. That's how I get down.
He's got the info. I mean, I was going to go over it, but take it away, Prag. You seem to know everything about this guy.
Well,
Mr. James Ward Bierkit.
Listen, I was very interested by his aesthetic and the fact that I could tell that he was a stage director and that it was very obvious that it was a low budget project, but not in a bad way. But he made well do with it, and he staged it as a play, and he used the area that he had very expansively. He had a whole outside set of scenes involved, but he didn't have a lot of space to work with, and so it seems like he was like filming one or two places over from different angles. It was good, and I noticed that he did the artistic direction or a lot of stuff like that for Pirates of the Caribbean. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, he was the storyboard artist for a lot of films.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Let me bring
Time.
up his credits, dude. He's done a lot. He directed a short film that was like attached to Pirates of the Caribbean, the third one, I think, called
I don't know
Wedlocked.
about that.
Yeah.
Spin-off, like a mini
Yeah,
film,
just a little short film. Yeah,
like they do with Pixar. How Pixar does little shorts sometimes.
yeah. Additional crew. He was a conceptual consultant on both Pirates of the Caribbean films. But yeah, I'm trying to see, because he's done storyboard, like he was basically the storyboard artist on a lot of stuff, but I'm just trying to find which ones they were.
His strengths are aesthetic.
Yeah.
And he got, the cast was large. There's a few actors that people may have seen or heard of before, but largely,
Yeah, it's a largely unknown cast.
And you got a lot out of them, I think.
Yeah, it stars Emily Baldoni as M, the main character.
Swede.
Yeah.
Can we have a photo? Can we see her on screen so people know what we're talking about?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to talk about this stuff without people, looking a little bit. So I think that's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did you think, Time, about the way the film looked? Just like the art direction.
I think overall it I don't know, it was an interesting movie, like the way it looked and everything like that. Like it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything what you said about the as far as like this guy's background, but it fits the feel of the movie. I could say that.
It's his only directorial film. It's the only film he's made like on its own. I know he made a mini series recently called Shadowbelt that hasn't been released publicly yet. It was shown at it was either South by Southwest or something else.
One of the things I was impressed by was the lighting. How he captured, you're making a film, so obviously everything has to be well lit, but also you're doing a play inside in a very comfy dinner party setting amongst 25 to 35s, young urban professionals. So it's got a warm, almost like a candle lit sort of vibe, and I think it was really impressive how he did that. I know it was a low budget film too, so once again, lighting is expensive.
Well,
the one thing I'm sorry, go ahead, Jason.
No, go ahead.
The one thing I really enjoyed about it, without getting into the thing, is there's a lot of movies, and granted this didn't have like
get into the thing. Feel free to get into the thing.
Action pieces.
Listen, we're here to get into the thing.
We're not going into the spoilers yet.
We can literally talk about anything you want. If you want to
no. We're doing spoilers later, bro. We've discussed.
I do appreciate the sound mixing for what they could do.
Yeah,
because a lot of times I'll struggle to hear like what they're saying, this and that, whatever. And it's just the dialogue's mixed awfully. But this was a really good mix as far as like sound wise.
I agree with you, except for one scene, the beginning scene. I don't know if we can watch that. The first scene when she's in the car and she's on the cell phone. I can't make out what she's saying. I had to actually turn the subtitles on.
Like, I don't think
it's supposed to be garbled.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just. It's not really.
I don't want to get into the spoilers.
It's just kind of setting up the phone cracking, right? Like she's just on the phone, and then she's arriving at a party, and then her phone cracks, and like that's kind of the setup of the film.
She's upset because her current boyfriend's ex is going to be at the party.
Is at the party, but she doesn't know that until she gets there. Right.
She doesn't find that out, and she's wondering if she should go on a trip with her current boyfriend. She's concerned about
it's not
that.
A trip. Whether they live separately.
Yeah,
they live separately. And
okay,
she's
so
wanting
deeper.
him to. Yeah, she's wanting him to come move in with her.
Okay,
And
that
he
makes more
doesn't
sense.
he doesn't seem to want to move, but it's still something he's thinking. It's actually, I think it's the other way
Considering, yeah.
around.
Even though it's an ensemble cast,
It's her to him, I think.
Yeah,
even though it's an ensemble cast, she really is the star. I mean, she's the pivot of the film,
Yeah.
wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she's the main point of the cast. Yeah,
and she kind of becomes like, I know it's not a horror film, but she kind of becomes the final girl in the end, like a lot of horror films do.
Yeah, I mean, when we get to the end part, this is when I just have some concerns with the, it's like I didn't believe that she had the capacity to do the things that she did in the way she did.
Okay, okay, no, fair enough. I mean, we can get into it later.
Later.
Yeah,
but that's a quibble. That's just a quibble,
The reason why I'm holding off is because I want to hear what you guys think about how the film is presented, and
ask us questions.
Well, yeah, how did you feel the actors did, and translating this script?
We can go through each actor if you'd like.
Yeah.
I have a list of actors right here.
I mean, I thought the performances across the board are extremely naturalistic. And I don't know if you felt the same way, but I felt like
he said in an interview that I saw that he was trying to make a film without a script.
Yeah, right. I saw it too. Yeah, there's no script.
That's what I wanted to get into later.
Yeah.
But
now, did he do that? Is this a film without a script?
Well, I was.
It doesn't seem so.
I was hoping that you guys hadn't read about that yet, but I guess we'll go into it.
Listen, JC, I'm going to do my homework. You know that.
The thing I saw was
I have notes about the Fibonacci sequence here that he has fades to black in. He has fades to black in the Fibonacci sequence in this film.
Correct. Yeah,
and when I don't know if it is the Fibonacci sequence, but it seems to be a numerical sequence like that. And when the convergence of the two realities occur, then that ends with the blackouts. Did you read that?
Well, I mean, yes, I did hear about that.
That's interesting.
I'll read a quote from him. So he initially chose actors who didn't know each other. So none of the actors knew each other before they showed up on set. So this is what he said. I come from the theater where I was trained to really just concentrate on story and character on a stage with actors. And so I was craving getting rid of everything. Getting rid of the crew, getting rid of the script, no special effects, no support, no money, no nothing. And just getting back to the purity of that, of a character in your hand and some actresses that you trust, and an idea.
It reminded me of Dogville in some regard.
That is a great comparison. I never actually thought about that. I mean, Dogville did have a script, but it just had no setting and stage.
Do you know what Dogville is, Time? Can we watch the trailer to Dogville?
Absolutely.
So the audience can understand. Dogville is I think it's a trilogy, and it's a film it's directed like a stage production.
Yeah.
So there's no sets. It's just everything's marked out in tape. The building, like if you move from a house to a house, it's just like an outline. So everything's dependent on the performances of the actors.
I'm not gonna put the audio over. I'm just gonna show how it looks.
Yeah, right. Whatever, anything. But it was really good too, because the story was so good and the characters were
captivating. Yeah. So you see how this works? It's basically just like lines on the ground, and then
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman's in it.
That's great. So you basically dissolve anything that can get in the way of the actor's performance
of the story. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's basically you have the story, you have the actors, and you have lighting, of course. But as you can see, it's just very this.
But this is kind of the
trailer.
Inverse.
Is that literally the trailer that they put out?
Yeah.
No wonder it did that. And then there's a sequel to that one, right?
Yes, called Mandalay as well.
Mandalay. Yeah, we should watch those eventually on this podcast because
I love Dogville. I haven't seen Mandalay.
I know what you're saying to yourself. You're saying that sounds horrible and boring and dumb. But if you've ever been to a good,
he's nodding.
But if you've ever been to the theater and seen a good stage play, they pull it off.
Yeah, but the story is that good, and the actors are just that good that you basically fill in the blanks in
It could have been horrible if anything was bad in the performances or in the script, but it was really good.
Yeah,
Because
but the difference with Coherence is that they have a setting.
Right.
The thing that they're missing is the script,
and they have a plot.
Actors, yeah.
And I think it's a kind of contrivance. I think the director wanted to make a play like Dogville with a story. I thought the story about the characters' relationships was much more interesting than the overriding science fiction hook, which he probably had to present in order to get funding for the film, because he probably couldn't have got funding otherwise. That's my.
But I find the science fiction part about it really inspiring, because he was able to create this like huge story out of such a small budget and such a small cast and such a small, you know what I mean? Just based on the film that you've watched and like knowing that he didn't have a script, how do you think he approached making this? Like, how did he get a full 90-minute film out of it?
I can't believe that the actors were not reading off a script just based on their timing. Usually if you have no script, there's going to be some, but I guess there was a few scenes with crosstalk. They must have rehearsed the hell out of it. I mean, that's what they did for what's the last Tarantino film he made before?
Can I tell you that they didn't rehearse
the Western?
It at all?
They didn't rehearse it?
They didn't rehearse it at all. They showed up.
Amazing.
They showed up. They shot it over 5 days, and they showed up. Basically, he called a bunch of his actor friends over.
Are they stage actors mostly?
Improvisational actors that he knew. And he was basically just like, show up at my house. This is a direct quote. Show up at my house in a couple of days. I can't really tell you what we're doing. Trust me, I'm not going to kill you. It should be fun. And again, a different quote. Instead of having a script, each actor was given a page of notes each day with their backstory or some sort of motivation for the night. But they wouldn't know what the other actors had received. So it had a very natural, very spontaneous collision of motivations that ended up being what you see on film. Obviously guided by a very strict outline that we'd been working on for about a year that tracked all the clues and the puzzles and all the rehearsal things like that. But the actors weren't aware of those. So those things happened because we were sort of guiding them through it. So there's a bit that they would have had to control, because there's at the start they open the glow sticks and everyone grabs a blue glow stick. And then the two guys, Amir and what's his name? The bald guy.
The bald guy with the beard. Yeah, he was one of my favorites. I think he did a really nice job.
Really good. Yeah. What was his name? Hugh.
Hugh, yeah.
Yeah, so they left the house and they went to the other house. Obviously went through the thing that we'll talk about later.
Yeah, Armstrong. Armstrong is the actor.
Hugo Armstrong. And later they come back and they're holding red glow sticks because they're from a different house, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're like, this is not our house, we have to leave. Obviously that would have had to be in control, right? How
do they do the blocking? I mean, you have to do blocking. You have camera angles, you have setup, you have lighting, so they wait. I understand that what comes out of their mouth is, it's cinema verite, just like Altman. It's funny that we were talking about Altman coming into this.
Yeah.
But the fact that, how do they know how to move around the room? You know what I'm saying? When you do a play, you know where you're supposed to be on your marks and et cetera. So otherwise, it's just people wandering around the stage.
Yeah, but you do notice, and the film, I feel like, does feel like a sort of home video, like documentary style thing, like that you'd see like parents taking of their kids. Yeah, and I feel like because that's the reason why, like,
that's his real house.
Yeah, it's his real house.
So that's why it looks so natural and perfectly staged. It was not staged.
It just wasn't staged. It just
the improv bit. I had heard about that after I watched the movie, and actually one of my notes, which I think plays into there being no script, is early on in the movie when all this shit's starting to go down, the dialogue feels very. It doesn't feel like a movie script. It doesn't feel like natural talking. It feels like the audience is trying to figure out what's happening as the characters.
Yeah, and it feels like the characters
they're trying
themselves
to figure out what's going on.
All trying to figure it
But
out.
I think that dramatically falls apart as the movie goes on.
That saves a lot of it too for me, because it explains why some of the things they were saying in the script is, what they were saying is that they were just coming up impromptu.
Yeah, a lot of the questions.
Are there any physics books in the library? It's like,
yeah. Well, because the actor doesn't know anything about physics.
No, it's just very natural.
Yeah, it's how people in their house who don't know anything about physics would discuss it, and that's why I feel like it works. Like he talks about how he doesn't know anything about physics, but his friend does, and obviously that's the note he's been given.
His brother,
right?
Yeah, his brother. So he's not someone who's an expert. He's just grabbing a book and reading the note that's been given to him, right? And I feel like that works for me, at least, because, like, I feel like Prag, you might have wanted more, like, concrete rules to how it works, or like a more concrete explanation of how the rules work.
Now that I know how the art was made and the medium is verite, and the medium is improvisation and just working with your motivations and nothing else. Now I look at it in a much different light, because if you were going to construct a plot like that, first of all, you'd have to make the film a lot longer, because I feel like they smushed a lot of things in there. It seemed very compact. I mean, you're talking about the relationship between the different couples, and you kind of get in, and then all of a sudden we're doing a Twilight Zone.
A lot was happening in a very small amount of time.
Very small amount of time. And stuff happens, like, in terms of the sci-fi plot. But, like, stuff happens before you realize in the film as an audience member that stuff is happening. You know what I mean? Like, they reveal stuff about, like, even about 3/4 through, they still think there's only 2 houses. But then later we find out that it's actually an infinite amount of houses with infinite amount of variability.
Right. I mean, that's the whole contrivance, right? It's parallel realities. The theory is that all things are happening simultaneously in some parallel universe.
Like, different decisions you make split into different branches.
But we have to get to the fact that only occurs at the quantum level. It doesn't happen, with standard physics. That's why, the theory that some people say that there are infinite JCs and infinite realities doing infinite things is true on the quantum level. Yeah. But they can't, I'm just saying, it's a fun thought exercise, but they haven't extrapolated it to large physical properties.
But if they did, we wouldn't have a movie.
And we allow it. And we allow it. And I'm just, because, listen, this is one of the most tired and tried things they do in popular science, is trying to take quantum physics and make it standard physics
stuff.
And that's why there's 2 different types of physics.
But the thing
this is all theoretical. It's all mathematical.
The thing is, you can kind of throw that out anyway, because the film opens with a comet breaking up. Like, how is a comet breaking up meant to affect anything?
Right. That's So
it's like, so you just kind of have to go with it anyway and just understand.
I think he's using the comet kind of like a metaphor. The comet is very historically significant, and very, in the film The Night of the Comet, and through Hollywood and through world history, major shifts have come with a comet. So,
the way I took the comet thing was that all these realities are existing, at the same time. And when the comet's going over, it's putting all these realities on the same vibration. So that's why they're able to kind of cross over and, interact with each other, best as they can. That's how I took the comet, at least.
Yeah. I mean, not just that, but also, like, they talk about, like, those weird comet events, like, what did they call it? The
magnetic pole shift?
No, the Tunguska event. The Tunguska event, which was a comet.
The comet that exploded in Siberia?
In Russia.
Right.
Yeah, it was
Siberia,
in Russia.
Russia.
It flattened like 80 million trees, and, like, there was some weird stuff that happened afterwards in terms of, like, the people who were in that area.
Radiation.
The film kind of uses that as an excuse to be like, anything could happen, and then it sets its own rules.
The whole Yucatan Peninsula is from the comet that killed the dinosaurs.
Is it?
Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, that's the crater.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, comets.
And
but a comet is not a meteor, right? Comets burn up, and I think that's what they allude to in the film at some point when it's burning off. I don't have a problem with. I mean, I understand. You have to have some action object, some action moment, and I'm just glad he didn't say alien or UFOs or Bigfoot. He could have used some other supernatural event, and that's essentially what he was using. So I have no problem with it.
There's other stuff that I really like as well, like you're talking about how you really found the dramatic stuff is it really between the characters really works. But the sci-fi
because I could tell that they're used to doing plays.
Yeah,
and that's the kind of intimate scene. When you're learning to become an actor, you're generally learning to become a stage actor, and you're doing improv and acting exercises, and they've never met one another, but maybe they've trained philosophically in the same schools of acting.
Well, absolutely. But what I wanted to say is I feel like the sci-fi plot around it facilitates a great ending. I think, because it sets up the fact that M, the main character, she was I think
M can't do what she's doing with her little bird bones. She can't do with her little bird bones. She's taken down the other version of herself.
Yeah.
When somebody jumps you from behind, the other person's struggling for their life. They're not going limp and then letting you inject. You know what I'm saying? And then she's cooking someone with a large physical implement. That she can barely
hold. She did drug her though. She uses the. But
listen, I guarantee you, if you went out to your car and I snuck up behind you with a plunger of something to put you out, it wouldn't be that easy to get that thing in you and plunge it. All right, because you're going to be rolling
surprise though.
Yeah, but that's when you roll like a crocodile, and people fight for their lives, man. I just. And I don't she's not someone who in the plot has told you that she's willing to kill people. I mean, I know there are copies of people.
She doesn't kill her though. But
she doesn't know that.
Well, okay. But dramatically speaking,
that's a mindset.
But dramatically speaking, they do set it up. She's talking about
she's a lady who lunches. She's a lady who lunches. She doesn't crown people with toilet seat covers. But listen. You know what I'm saying? That's just not her. That's not her vibe.
But her decision to do that makes sense. Because she's trying
Does
to.
It?
Yeah.
Because she wants the best possible reality for herself.
Yeah, she wants her ideal situation. Yeah,
she wants the ideal situation, and her
So
at the start of the film, they kind of established that she's a dance instructor, and she's created this ballet. I think.
Okay,
that's right. And she was she created this ballet that went famous. And she was meant to be the lead star, but they ended up hiring a more professional. That. Yeah.
And then you have the plot with the other girlfriend of the or the current boyfriend, and
she drops out, and then the ballet, obviously the headliner drops out, and then the lady that replaced her ended up having her life. That's essentially what. And it kind of sets up the fact that she wants to she wants to pick the best outcome for herself, because she's made wrong decisions before that have led to a worse life for her, right?
I know, but having the willingness and the capacity to attack other people are two totally different things.
Yeah, but
if you're a person who's never that lady in that film has never been in a fight in her entire life, and I can't believe that she would suddenly go to I'm going to start killing clones after 3-hour dinner party where they think maybe there's a comet and maybe they're not hallucinating, and give it a day to think over before you start whacking people.
We're only
she
getting
doesn't have a day.
She doesn't know. How do they know?
Well, she thinks the situation that she's in her house currently is going to lead to a much worse life than the one that she goes to. Well,
then she's the villain, isn't she?
This is her future. Well, I don't think. Maybe. I mean,
I
I don't think
maybe.
the film has an answer as to whether
She's making
she's a
a
good
selfish
person or not.
choice. She's making a purely selfish choice, and she's hurting other beings, whether they're clones or not. That's another question, really. Are they clones, or who's the original?
But the events of the night
No,
have
it's
led
totally
to her
evil,
to this decision.
heinous.
Yeah,
All right,
but
let's
the
go back.
events
What
of
are
the
the
night
events?
have led her to this
All
decision.
right, well, let's talk about that. What are the events that led her to whacking 2 people?
Well, the first thing, like, she's not happy with her current situation because she didn't get the ballet situation.
Okay.
Career,
Still not murder worthy. Go ahead.
Her boyfriend is, well, basically
not
cheating.
committed.
Yeah,
Her
he's not
boyfriend is
committed.
Greg Gutfeld. Her boyfriend is Greg Gutfeld, impersonator. If you look at him, he looks a lot like Greg Gutfeld.
It's James Vanderbeek.
I thought it was James Vanderbeek, but until later I thought it was Maurice Sterling.
I heard that, and I'm like, James Vanderbeek? Which one was he?
I don't know why I thought that.
That's I don't know why. The wrong movie. Shit.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that.
That's all right. Listen, I do that all the time.
A small thing. Did you guys feel? I don't know if you guys have seen like a lot of Wes Anderson films.
Yeah,
he likes to cast. What's his name? The guy from not Nashville.
Ghostbusters.
No. He's in the Royal Tenenbaums.
Gene Hackman?
No. I'm gonna cut all this out.
Luke.
Not Luke Wilson. It's gonna come to me.
Adrian Brody.
The guy who's playing
Jason Schwartzman. Jason
Schwartzman from.
Did you guys?
I love Jason Schwartzman in his first movie, Rushmore. His first breakout movie.
That's the film I was looking for, not Nashville. Rushmore. Yeah. Jason Schwartzman. Did you guys feel like the actor of Amir like just looked like his brother or something? Like I just thought that he was very similar to him. But maybe I'm insane.
Well, you did think that guy was James Vanderbeek, so
I did think that guy was James Vanderbeek.
Alex Monaghan played Amir. Alex Monaghan. He doesn't have a link. So
he even has like a mole on his face.
I don't think he's a Schwartzman. I don't think he's a Schwartzman.
The guy who played Amir was actually, I think he actually helped write the movie with the director.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but it does say that. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Alex Monaghan.
Wow, it's crazy.
Story by. It's crazy. You know everything. You know things that I don't.
No, I knew that one specific thing.
Yeah, Maurice Sterling is the Gutfeld impersonator.
The Gutfeld impersonator. I thought he was really good as well.
He's fine. He was kind of annoying. I thought Nicholas Brandon did a nice job as Mike.
Yes.
The other male
I thought
lead.
he was great. The drunk.
Right.
Yeah,
that was the whole thing. The other Mike's going to get ready to do something crazy.
Well,
that's the first thing he went to.
Well, he's like, I can blackmail him because I have something that shouldn't be revealed. And it doesn't end up mattering because they go off topic for half an hour, and then he comes and slips that note under the door. Once it's
that blackmail part, though.
Yeah.
The line he delivers to Hugh was insane. When he's like,
"I fucked your wife in every reality."
He goes, "I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy you should be mad at. It's a different Mike." But in all the realities, I fucked your wife in all of them, and then he gets fucking punched.
It's so good. I thought that was like, a really good ad-lib. Like,
I didn't think he was going to go that way.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good ad-lib, but
I thought he was trying to talk the way out of it. And he's like,
nope. He makes it worse for himself.
Yeah,
but he's like that. He's self-destructive. He drinks. Like that's his character. Is that he's kind of a self-destructive husband.
They just went from 0 to 60 in a very short amount of time, as far as
you felt like that.
I did, because listen, if you were at a dinner party and a comment went over, and then the glow stick, and say it was us, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm ready to start plotting killing the clones and who should I whack out.
Well, some people would be though, because they're thinking
4 hours,
if we're thinking about it, then they're thinking about it. You know what I mean?
It takes me a couple days to get to that level of craziness, but listen.
But like they're desperate. They don't know if they're trapped there forever.
Yeah, but listen, just because you can't control for all the variables, so that she may have stolen the best life, but there could have been a variable in that reality she didn't account for. Like
But
maybe in that reality, she's closer to a contagion that causes cancer at her workplace or something. Or
but
you
the
know what I'm
thing is,
saying?
she gets countenance for her act. Like her penance is that she didn't kill her. She like now there's two of her walking around. Like that's the whole ending of the film. It's like he gets a phone call from the one that she'd knocked out. Um,
Right.
and now she has to
The
live with the
double switch back
consequences.
there.
Yeah. Also, like that M is going to be like she strangled me and
And that's when Paul Giamatti is in. That's why Paul Giamatti's in Coherence too.
no.
And yeah,
Paul
because it's going to be
Giamatti.
Emily and Paul, and they're going to figure it out. And it's going to be like Dogville, and there's not going to be any sets. It's going to be
But
great.
what I'm saying is that the film isn't condoning her actions. Like it's a bad thing she's done. But like the ending implies that she's made the wrong choice, right?
Maybe I should check my male privilege by theorizing that she doesn't have the capacity for that, and that maybe I think only one of the male actors would have the capacity to
do
commit
that.
those
like
acts.
Mike would.
Well,
but she's already gotten the idea from Mike. Like it's become normalized in that.
I just
scenario.
don't know if she's physically able to do those things.
She's not, but she's also attacking herself. So
yeah,
that's not really like
herself is also
a thing.
weak.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
like...
if she's weak, herself's weak, so it doesn't matter.
If you were going to attack yourself, you would freak out because you were touching yourself, and you'd
I'd
be
freak
like,
out, but I know
what
I
the
can
fuck's
handle
going
myself.
on?
I know I can handle myself.
You want to sneak up behind your own self and grab your own self, and then kill your own self. You know. Yeah, you should watch your back.
Yeah,
you should watch your back because
watch for me.
Watch for me, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments in the film, though, is when she's like, they go outside because they heard a window smash, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone goes and checks on their cars, and she goes to her car. She grabs a ring, that he'd gotten her at a fair or something, and she talks to a Kevin, and she's like, "How's everyone else? Like, is everyone else's cars okay?" And he's like, "What do you like?" 30 seconds of them staring at each other.
Oh yeah, that was creepy. That was a good scene. I thought that was really scary.
Yeah, because they realize, oh shit, that's a different.
He's like pretending, and then You remember that scene time?
What was it
out in the car? They're in the dark, and like she's checking on her car, and then she picks the ring, and then
right? The first time?
The first time she turns around, and she sees who she thinks is her boyfriend, and then she realizes that he's like a twin or whatever.
Yeah, because he hadn't heard about the cars, like the windows smashing.
But they didn't end that scene. They didn't end that scene. They just shifted to her opening the door back into the house. They didn't resolve how those two entities resolve.
They just walk away from it. Like you see them slowly step away from each other. He steps into the dark, and she.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Like in complete silence. And I was
like that. I like that
it's
scene.
Unsettling. But I
enjoyed
also
that
like
scene.
the fact that she gets the ring out and she says to him, like, I found the ring that you gave me at the fair, and he responds positively to her, and she's happy until she realizes it's a different guy. And then she goes into the house. I would love
to see more weirdness like that. More David Lynchian.
Well, I thought the whole thing was weird. Like, there's the moment where the guy comes in and punches Mike, and that's obviously the one that's thought to kill him. And everyone else obviously stops him, but
but that scene had a very sinister, like strange undercurrent.
Wait, do you think that was the Mike from the original house?
Cool.
There isn't an original house. There's a million.
No, there's
infinite.
There's
an
one
original house.
The one we start at. Yes, that's the one we start at. Do you think that was the Mike from there?
No, because I think there's infinite possibility. It's just another Mike that's thought to come and
to do the same thing.
Yeah, but no, I don't think it was the original Mike. Like, there's obviously millions and millions and millions and millions. I also really like the process.
Infinite.
Yeah. I also really like the fact that the process of them working out what the box is meant to mean, and like obviously they're taking the box.
Quantum entanglement. right?
Yeah, and they're like, we need to mark our house, and let's make it as random as possible.
What's the theory? What's the thought exercise about the cat? That you put the cat.
Schrodinger's cat. Yeah. They talk about Schrodinger's cat.
Maybe the audience doesn't know what Schrodinger's cat is.
Well, they describe it in the film, but yeah,
I'm talking about our audience.
Our audience. Yeah.
Could you imagine?
The people that are watching us talk about this movie.
Yeah, the shut-ins.
Yeah.
Other grandmas.
The other
grandmas who love the film.
Who want to yap about movies as well.
Mm.
Basically the idea of Schrodinger's cat is that there's a cat in a box and there's also poison in the box that has a 50-50 chance of releasing the poison. And we don't know if the cat is alive or dead until we open the box, right?
So it's both.
So
it is alive and dead. Like, so everyone is this and that.
Well, general theory would say that it's either alive or dead, but quantum mechanics would say that until the box is opened, it's both alive and dead at the same time.
Yep. Because that's how particles work at the quantum level.
Yeah.
They don't know where. Yeah, it's totally random. They don't. They can appear.
They have a probability. They have a probability, obviously, but if you have Schrodinger's cat, it's a 50-50. So the probability is 2 bars.
They do use quantum entanglement, like for example, in cybersecurity to create coding and stuff. So they can use quantum mechanics and particle physics, like lasers specifically.
Yeah.
Like for example, the Chinese use a signaling system to convey information to their embassies that's based on the same theory using lasers. So you can't intercept it because it's complicated. But so it does exist, but it doesn't exist as far as we know for human lives.
And it's how
but it could have.
The future computers are probably going to be all built via, quantum computing. Quantum computing. It's going to be everything. Yeah. It's going to be huge at some point.
Yep.
But yeah, do we feel like we've discussed everything? Do we feel like we've covered all the bases, or do you have more to say about coherence? Obviously, this like I'd want to conclude
that was his first film.
That was his only film.
His first and only? What's he worked on? What year is that film?
2013.
2013. So what did he do after that?
So he made a not a short film, a mini series called Shatterbelt, which hasn't been released yet. It was made in 2023. Stars our boy Patton Oswalt, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it about?
Emily Baldoni's in it as well.
Is he banging Emily Baldoni? Is that the only reason that he gave that bird girl the responsibility to whack 2 other actors?
Are we talking? Who are we talking about?
Emily.
Are we talking about James Ward?
I'm talking about Birkett is the director in a relationship because it's happened. All right, I don't want to listen. I don't want to tell tales out of school, but sometimes the ingenue dates the director.
But Hugo Armstrong is in it as well. But I don't know if I think they're just good friends.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically 4 episodes. But that's the only thing he's made since.
Well, what is it? What is it about? What's the plot of Shadow Belt?
It's a collection of interconnected stories that follow the mysteries surrounding awareness, intention, desire, free will, and the uncanny nature of consciousness.
He's expanding on the themes he was exploring in Coherence to a certain
I can bring
extent.
up the trailer if you want.
Yeah, that's what we That's what we do here. We have AV capacity. We probably should have been playing scenes from. Maybe we should play the trailer to Coherence.
We do
a chance our audience want to see it.
We do a red letter media.
Next time,
I can edit it in. I can edit the trailer in.
Isn't that what they did at the movies with Siskel and Ebert? They played the trailer before they discussed it. Yeah, we got to do that from now on.
They do that in red letter media as well.
Nobody's knows what the fuck we're talking about here.
But they edit it in
I know, but
yeah, we don't have to do it live.
We can just jank it in there.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm going to cut this, but
listen. You know what we might want to do is we can stream the raw and also put out an edited version. Like we could put this
absolutely.
live on Twitch.
Yeah.
I don't know how we would do that. Do you have editor status on my channel? If you want, next time we can just stream it.
Yeah, I mean, this app has like this program allows you to, like, if you get the premium, obviously, but
oh, that's right. Yeah, we can do that.
This is his I'm gonna show it to you. This is his mini series that he made. That hasn't been released yet, but this is the trailer for it.
Chatterbelt. Okay.
Yeah, but this is the only thing he's made since Coherence, so that's her. That's our girl.
Yeah, she looks like she's gonna murder somebody. If I saw her coming, I would cross the street.
That's Hugo Armstrong.
Yeah, Hugo's back. Who owns this?
He does, I suppose. I don't think it's been.
He didn't sell it to
up.
a TV channel.
Yeah, I don't think it's been picked up.
Can't believe between Hulu, Amazon, Netflix, they didn't pick it. They didn't buy it. That's crazy.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, not yet, at least. They're waiting for the next pandemic. That looks crazy. No, I'm interested. That looks fucking pretty interesting.
What the? I hate YouTube how it does this and puts the.
Oh yeah.
Right.
It's very annoying. But yeah, Shadowbelt.
All right.
I really hope it gets released.
We'll look for that. You want to watch the Coherence trailer? You want to watch Coherence trailer with the audio on?
Oh, I didn't play the audio. I'm so sorry.
No.
You should have let me know earlier. God damn it! All right.
Listen, this is.
I can do it again. I can do it again.
No, you don't have to. No, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do.
I think we should do it again because I'll edit that out.
All right, do it again.
Sorry about that. But let me know early next time.
Brought to you by Aussie Bites. Don't buy an Aussie. buy. If you don't have an Aussie, buy an Aussie Bite.
Do you have a?
You can taste the quinoa.
This is the man, by the way, Jim Burkett.
So he's made 2 things since 2013, and one of them was an independent film, and the other one didn't sell. So how does he pay the rent?
I don't know what he does, dude. He's probably still a storyboard artist that doesn't get credited.
Probably.
Did I... Hold on. Let me check if I got audio. Share entire screen.
This would never happen on the Paul Giamatti podcast, by the way.
No.
Paul would have a production team.
Here's
full screen
with sound.
You want it full screen?
It is full screen.
Okay. Weird ass Carl. Yeah, we love you.
Modem? That's Maury Sterling again.
Yeah, all of his friends are in it.
What I really want to know is what all of these are about. Like, we're getting images, but not a clue what they're...
I want to electrocute time with the like that one guy's doing.
Electrocute
the cattle prod.
The cattle prod, yeah.
That scene. See, it's coming up right here.
Let's shoot out
throwing up money. That's
going on, dude.
Right there. See.
Can you turn off annotations? Is that a thing you can do?
I don't know.
Listen.
But yeah,
I'm just the talent.
You're just the talent.
Do you want to watch the Coherence trailer?
No, I'll edit it in earlier into
I'm just joking. It's just a joke.
We've seen the movie. We don't.
Oh, you're going to edit it in later. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen the movie. We don't. Yeah. Exactly. I'm an editor. You know this, Brad.
Okay. All right.
You know I'm a pro.
I'm not worried about it. Listen, I'm not worried about it. How long do you think before we can publish it? I'd really like to stuff it up their fucking Lance and those people's nose.
Throw it in their faces.
You guys are never gonna get your podcast off the ground.
So, in conclusion,
we'll see. We'll see.
Would you recommend Coherence? In conclusion,
yes, but I would explain with a little explainer that there's no script.
Would you?
And
you don't think it's a better experience to find out
after
later?
They saw it, at some point, before, during, after, because I think that really, I don't think that spoils anything. I think it illuminates the medium, and like there's a difference between chalk drawing and oil painting, and it's a medium. It's a different.
I get that
stylistic choice, and I would definitely mention that going in.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't recommend it to somebody who doesn't like stage plays and doesn't like theater.
It doesn't like chamber pieces as well because it's all set in one location.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. It's not
Um,
Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Transformers,
it's a different
yeah.
thing. You're watching the actors. You're watching the. It's like going to the theater.
Absolutely.
And I like the theater a lot, so I would recommend it.
I'm glad you think so. What about you, Time? Would you recommend
I thought this
Coherence?
movie was awful, honestly.
Good, go ahead.
I
Listen.
watched this movie. The first 15 minutes, I watched at work, and I thought it was a very interesting idea. And then I got home and I started it back over and I watched it, and I thought it was very predictable. I thought the acting was awful, but having understood where like the improv is, and it gives a little bit leeway. The predictability of it. No, the predictability of it.
There's
gets
no
lessened
way.
towards the end. Yeah, 100%. Like as soon as Hugh and Amir left, I instantly knew when they came back they weren't the same people.
Yeah, I didn't like the plot part. I didn't like the science fiction part. I think that failed it. I liked.
And then when
performances
Hugh sat down,
why didn't you talk about this earlier in the?
You guys don't let me talk.
Discussion.
You guys keep cutting me off.
Oh, I'm
Let's
sorry.
talk about it now. Let's talk about it now.
So,
no,
yeah, it doesn't
please.
matter. So when Hugh sat down to write the note, as soon as he wrote it, I go, I was like, okay, whatever. Is he going to write a note for whatever? And as soon as there's a knock on the door, I go, okay, the note's going to be on the door, and that's what it was. And I was like, this movie is just so predictable. But again,
yeah,
after we get I think after they open the box, I think that's where the predictability kind of just disappears, and you kind of can't figure it out from that point. I thought
you don't get points. You don't get points for.
Really? You thought it was a slog? You thought it was awful?
For as fast as it was and compacting so much information into, what was it, 90 minutes? Into 90 minutes.
I didn't like that.
I just thought it was incredibly boring.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, I love the idea. I love the overall premise of it. I didn't like when they found the book, everyone just knew what quantum mechanics was, or quantum physics were. Everyone just knew what it was right away. It's like, what's Schrodinger's cat? Oh, I don't know what that is. Okay, well, it's this and this. Oh, quantum shit. I know that. That was just
well, that's completely... I didn't feel like that's how they reacted to it. That was still confused.
That's exactly what it was.
No, I felt like that was still confused.
I like the scene when they're like, did you poison me with ketamine? Yeah. Did you poison us all with ketamine?
That was a good scene.
I like that scene a lot, yeah.
There were parts that I liked about it. Like I said,
the performances were good. You don't get points for the performances, though?
It just wasn't that great.
Okay.
Yeah, but now that you know there's no script and that you saw that, imagine if we just picked 6 people like our friends and did try to do that. We'd be falling all over each other.
It would work.
Right, because
it would work for some.
So I give them credit for certain things. The lighting, the aesthetic, and the acting performances were really good. I don't like the plot. I don't like how it was jammed in there. I don't like the way they resolved things at the end because I didn't buy the protagonist had the capacity, not the physical capacity, just the emotional capacity to whack people out. So
I think
would
that's
still recommend it.
Fair.
I would recommend it as an example of what you can do without a script. I would recommend it as an example of cinema verite. I could recommend it as what you do with a low budget.
Yeah, for what he had and what he was able to accomplish on that small of a scale to make that big of a movie, I understand that and I appreciate that. I just wouldn't recommend seeing it.
Okay, that's fair enough. Cool.
But there are a lot of parts where I think there's a big idea there and it's good. I just, I mean, for me, even if it's like, maybe I don't even think throwing more money at it would have helped. I just think it was kind of too convoluted.
No, throwing more money at it, I think, would have made it worse. I think.
Yeah.
I think if they had, I like the fact that the dialogue was unscripted, but there could have been a better structure to the plot.
Okay. No, that's fair enough.
I mean, just because we've seen so much Twilight Zone stuff. We've seen this plot. We've seen these devices deployed much more elegantly. But I'm always going to,
Yeah. I just found the way that this film approached just filmmaking in general, like that kind of spirit of going into something without a script, without a crew,
right,
and just creating something as big as it did. And for me,
That's
when
super
I first,
cool. I like that.
yeah,
I like that a lot.
I like that a lot.
when I first watched it, though, I didn't have any of these issues. Like, I just was in love with this film. Like, I loved every moment. I loved the way the actors interacted with each other. I loved the fact that stuff happened before I realized it did, and I had to think back to earlier events in the film to understand what's happening now. I thought all the dynamics was really, like, the dynamic between Hugh and Mike, and like Amir being the kind of annoying character that's that's brought the girl that no one wants there, and
Right.
yeah, I just thought it all worked together in a really cohesive way.
This
But
guy.
listen, at the same
Um,
time, he could have staged that as a theater play, and it would have worked probably better.
Would he have gotten as
It
good
didn't
dialogue?
have to be a
though?
film.
I
Why
just
was it
felt-
a film?
I
Why
just
was it
feel
made
like
a film? Because he
Well, I
wanted to
feel
make a
like-
film?
well, yeah,
Did
he's
it
a
demand
filmmaker,
it?
I guess.
I
But,
know, but he's also a stage director, isn't he?
yeah, but like
I'm
I
just
think it
interested
works
why he
this way
decided that way.
because I feel like it works better in the setting of a house, like an actual house with actual, you know, like an actual group of friends. Obviously, they'd never met each other, but I feel
No,
like
I
it
like-
works
yeah, that's
better in this environment.
It
There's
was an exercise that was extrapolated into a film, and maybe it shouldn't have been. Maybe it should have.
Like, to me, this film kind of represents what filmmaking. Like, I know this is really,
No, I understand.
you know, pretentious or whatever, but it
is
really,
it what filmmaking could be?
yeah, it represents something like
I get it.
like the amount that I got out of it, and the amount of effort that was put into making it as natural as it is, I think
Right.
is just really impressive. Like,
I remember
especially on a
seeing the-
$50,000 budget. Like,
Yeah, the first real films that were made all digitally, like Wild River, I think was one of the
There was
first
there
ones.
was one thing
It was really
that-
exciting. It opens things up. It's exciting. It's empowering for an artist to see other artists succeed with limited resources.
I just find it
Time.
super inspiring to me personally. That's why it's one of my favorites of all time.
There was one thing that I was that I thought about, and it felt like they were setting up the movie for this, but they just kind of abandoned it. Maybe I'm the only one that kind of saw it this way. But with the whole infinite houses and infinite possibilities, whatever, it seemed like they were like, okay, there's a million of these things happening, but the same thing is going to happen in every instance. You can't get away from it. So they're always going to go to the house
of the same things, like a variation.
Okay, so that's when I was confused when, like, she went to find the house and she found, like, you know, the house that wasn't tainted. You know, they're the only ones that didn't go outside. So it's like, okay, so she's the only one of all these possibilities that stumbled upon that house. There's no other like reality where they.
It's
And
an
how do you know?
infinite
How
amount
does she
of
know
houses,
she's right?
so-
How does she know she's correct? You know, it's like
because there's an infinite amount of houses.
Where she starts
like,
killing people.
There might have been other M's that went off and found other houses. Like
guaranteed.
that as well.
Because if that's in her personality, it's in all of their personalities.
No, but
So
not
they're all
going to
be trying to kill
that.
each other.
No, not
So
all
were there
of them
two
are going
M's
to
at the
do
end,
that.
or
There's
three M's?
Well, isn't that the essence of who she is, though? I mean, all the Hughes are going to be like Hugh, and all the M's are going to be like M in a certain degree, right?
For the most part,
after the comet passes, there's two M's left in the world that she's ended up in.
But prior, like, so when she finds that house at the end, and she smashes the window to get him outside, right? At that point, moving forward to when she does the attack, are there three? Because she gets the one in the car.
No, because she didn't go through the area that they were talking about. Like, the cars are the house, the area of the house includes the cars, so you don't have to go outside. Like,
no, but she dragged that M, or she got that M outside to the car, and that's when she attacked that one and took the ring, right?
Yep.
And then she went back inside, and then she attacked the M in the bathroom. Was that the same M that she attacked?
That
she
was
attacked
the
it
same
twice.
M. Yeah,
okay,
she was drugged, and that's why she was crawling on the floor and. You know,
that's right. Okay,
off her face,
Okay.
But yeah.
She crawls from the outside to the indoors, and nobody hears her crawling. You know what I'm saying? And if you're dragging yourself on the ground, you're going to get all bloody. You're going to get. People are going to hear you. Like if somebody was trying to drag themselves into my home right now.
Well,
somebody try. I'd say.
I don't
Excuse
think
me.
that's that
I
bad.
can hear
Like,
you.
I didn't think it was
I
bad
feel
either.
like, yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just something. It's a movie, you know.
Listen,
I don't think it's
all
that.
these things can be done better. I don't think
There was a
they
comet
can be
flying
done.
over. There's
I think they
different
can be done.
realities, but
It
someone
just can be
crawling on the
done
ground
more
is crazy.
elegantly. JC, I just think it could have been done more cleverly and more elegantly
I
and more
just think that's a
plausibly.
very. I think that's a
More
very
plausibility is
cinema
important.
sin. You
If
know what
they
I mean?
want me to suspend my disbelief so that I shall be entertained, there has to be an undercurrent of plausibility.
I just don't see it as that much of a, you know.
No, it doesn't. It didn't make me turn the thing off or anything like that. It's just
I mean,
like
we don't know
if,
how
if,
far
if
away
we're
the
doing a
car is
review,
from the
if we're doing a
house.
critique, this is what critique is, right?
Yeah,
We're
but I
going
feel like
through
when I
it
critique
like
a
a
movie,
fine-tooth comb.
but when I critique a movie, I don't really like to talk about like logical holes very often. I more like to talk about, you know,
I'm
character
only doing
dynamics
it
and talk about
in so much if it could be made better.
did it
That's the only
ruin the
reason
dramatic tension?
not because
for you? Did it
I'm not
actually
trying
ruin,
to.
Did it ruin the
Or
drama of the scene?
did it
for
take you out of it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
It
yeah.
did? Oh, okay.
When
'Cause I
it
didn't ruin it
when
for
she
me.
threw her little bird body on the other little bird and drugged her and was choking her, I said to myself, that's not what happens when you jump somebody from behind. No matter who they are, they're gonna thrash. They're gonna say what? You know?
But she drugged her like instantly.
It doesn't go. That's not how
She
it
drugged her
works,
with
though.
fentanyl.
How many movies have you seen where
Ketamine.
someone has jumped someone
Ketamine
from
is a
behind? It happens so
disassociative. It
many
doesn't.
times.
It takes 20 minutes to work.
Why? But like, my question is, why does this film get
I
the
would
criticism,
listen,
but like other
chlorophyll.
films
Listen, here's how you fix it. She's
make it
associated to
chloroform?
a veterinarian in some
Chloroform.
way, and there's chloroform. Chloroform that'll instantly cook you.
Okay,
Ketamine
well,
injection it's just it's not gonna
but
make
she
you
also
pass
chokes
out.
her, right? She also chokes her as well.
I think so, yeah.
I don't know if she can choke somebody.
Why not?
I don't know if she
It's
knows how
her.
to choke somebody.
Why
Because you
not?
should know how. Because if you don't know how to choke somebody, it's
You
not
don't think
the same thing. I just feel like
I'm gonna.
the director could have thought of a more clever way to make the other version of her not a threat anymore.
Next episode, I'm going to get Emily Baldoni onto the podcast. And,
Please, I'm not
and get her to,
and
get her
you
to
must
prove
know,
that she could
I'm
choke
not
you.
attacking
Yeah.
Emily. I'm not attacking James.
Choke
I
yourself
love
right
them
now,
both.
Emily. Choke
I
yourself.
love them both. But if I was there, I would say, okay,
No,
James,
I get her to choke Pragpro.
what are some
I'd prove that she
different
can
ways
choke
that we
someone
could
bigger than
resolve
her.
this?
Yeah.
What are some ways we could resolve this plot
I
in a
don't think
way
it's an
that doesn't
issue.
take us out of it?
I just don't think
And
it's an
to
issue.
me, that just took it out of it. Why couldn't we do something more clever?
I thought that was clever enough. She chokes her
lock her
future
into a
self.
place. Lock
Like
her,
she stops
you
her
know,
future
self-contain her in a room she can't get out of, or something like that.
Well, I don't really think it's an
Something
issue.
real
Like,
sinister.
Like, whether you do that, like, the events are still the same. She takes out herself, right?
I know, but that's
Like,
what that's
and
where
I
the
think
art
that's
is.
fine.
That's
And
what
I thought
the
that
art
the way they
is.
presented it was
The
really
art
sinister.
is how they
I thought it
resolve.
was really.
I mean, if you just present plot, if you just
you're gonna
present a
do
plot,
that,
the art
Yeah.
is the embellishment. The art is the craftsmanship in the embellishment and the choice of colors and the choice of wood grain and the choice of this and how you do this and how you do that. So those little particulars are important because I think personally, and I'm not attacking him, and I might be wrong, and I could very well be wrong, but I'm just saying I would have done it in a more interesting way or more clever.
Well, you can
I
say,
would try to find a way that wasn't the old Hollywood routine where you grab them from behind and you go, and then they're done. I would have said, okay, what
I
can we
just
do
didn't think
here?
it mattered, honestly. Like, it didn't
Everything
matter to
matters. Everything.
At some point,
When you're
Emily
making
wakes
art.
up in that bathtub and has to leave the house. Why didn't she get up and wake someone else in the house if we're going to
That
start
is
nitpicking
something that
little
I
things
did
like that?
wonder.
You know?
Yeah.
There's all kinds
I did
of
wonder
things.
that. It
There's all
doesn't
kinds
matter
of
to me
things.
because it sets up the ending with the
Either
phone call,
we're
which I think
suspending
is a better ending.
all disbelief, or we're just gonna.
They have to help
Yeah.
me keep my belief suspended sometimes.
But I felt like the ending was a lot stronger that way than like with the phone call, rather than her just waking everyone up. Like, you wouldn't have that ending. You
That's
know
a better
what I mean?
ending.
I like the phone
Yeah.
call. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm barely picking a fight with two little scenes, really. And
Yeah,
the whole
I get it.
thing that I just found out was improv.
Mm-hmm.
Though I did read about it, I just didn't know if they actually ended up doing that, but I see that they did.
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah,
So I'm
when I heard it
giving
was
a
improv,
lot of.
I was like, how much leeway did they have?
You know,
It was like a murder mystery party, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would never say it's a horrible movie. I would never say it's a. I would recommend it.
Yep. So to conclude,
what I'm saying
do we want to give it like a number rating? Like I'll say, like
I don't
you
get
already
that.
know.
I think a thumbs up and thumbs down.
Thumbs
is the way
up
it
and
should
thumbs
be
down is
in
good
this
enough.
world.
Okay.
You know, it's
fair
just
enough.
Roger Ebert, the greatest movie critic of all time, the only winner of the Pulitzer Prize for movie criticism, I believe. To this
Why do
date.
I feel like every film that I put up, Time is just going to hate? I swear to God, that's what's going to happen.
That's not true.
I'm
you know
kidding.
what? Maybe he will change his mind
Obviously,
someday.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
People's listen, my opinions change on things. We're here to convince each other, but not to
And just give
beat
our
on
thoughts.
each other.
No, absolutely.
What's that
Right?
movie,
We're not trying to.
Silver Lake.
This is
Under the Silver
productive
Lake.
criticism.
Did you watch it?
No, yeah. Flame watched it. I watched part of it. It was interesting. I liked it from what I saw.
Oh, good.
But I
I'm
watched
glad
a
you trailer for that.
The little bit I saw, I liked.
I'm glad you enjoyed that. Yeah.
Which movie do we want to watch this week? Do we want to watch
We'll do your film,
Tron
Frank.
Legacy, or do we want to watch Boys Life?
Boys Life. Yeah. I think
This
this is
Boys
really
Life.
good because I hope it continues like this, where we have someone who's
Listen.
adores
I'm glad
the film.
that somebody
someone
disagreed,
who's lukewarm on
JC.
the film.
JC,
No, not
we
just
have
that.
to disagree. If
If
this is
That's
just
what I'm
the
saying.
agreement, is this the agreement club? No one's going to get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I think it's interesting that there's someone who adores this film, me, and then there's someone who's kind of lukewarm on the film, Prag, and then there's someone who just hates the film.
I think he's more than lukewarm. I think he liked it. I mean, he liked it.
I give it a 77.
Okay,
out of
so we
100.
are giving it a number rating.
If you had to put a gun to my
the
throat,
numbers. Yeah,
hey, listen, I'll give you
it
a
100. It's 100.
If you had to put
on a scale of 1,000. You know,
Yeah.
I think
If you
the
had to
scale
put
is bigger is better.
ketamine to his throat, what are you going to pick?
I give it a C plus, JC, because
C plus.
it's
77 is a C plus. It's an A in Australia.
No.
What?
Out of 100.
Yeah.
No,
Anything over 75
70
is an
to
A in
80
Australia,
is a
yeah.
C.
That's weird.
80 to 90 is a B. 90 and up is an A.
For us, it's anything over 50 is a C. It's 50 to 60.
That's an F.
No,
That's a
50%?
60 to
That's
75 is
crazy.
yeah, correct. 60 to
That is
75 is a B,
crazy.
and then 75
What the
up is an
fuck?
A. Yeah, in Australia. But our test
Here you have to get 70% right. If you don't get 70% right, you have to go. You have to go to the factory.
Our tests are harder. So
Listen,
but yeah,
our test is the whole country, JC. Our test is living in America.
55.
That's the test is
My
living
test
there.
is living in America, and either it's a pass or fail. All right, either you get
That's so good.
you know. So it's pretty tough.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
know. It's tough everywhere. I think everyone, every region, every human. That's the real test. Is the reality. And school is meant to teach you how to learn, not to teach you all the content.
For
It's
sure.
just learn how to learn, and then you can learn whatever the fuck you want when you need to.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Thank you for joining me on our first edition of Three Grandmas Yapping
Paul
about
Giamatti
movies.
Podcast Network.
Paul Giamatti. Fuck. I'm so
Brought to
glad
you
to have
by
you guys
Aussie Bites.
joining me. I'm really glad that we had differing opinions on one of my favorite films of all time. Next week we'll be doing This Boy's Life. Is that what it's called?
What would be your rating, JC? You didn't say your rating.
Oh, 100. Like, for me, it's one of my favorite films.
Perfect film. Okay.
Whoa,
It's a perfect film for me.
There's no 100. There's no 100.
There is.
I mean,
There's 100. There's 100 on
2001
JC's
is.
scale.
I mean,
No,
you
it's
can't
not.
reach
I don't think
100.
it's 100. Well, I have films
well,
that...
the man asked you what the rating
I
was.
have
and you
a
said
small-
100.
I have a
I said
small amount of
77.
films.
What's your rating,
It is
Time?
100. It's 100 for me.
55.
55. Jesus.
55.
55.
I've seen
That's not too
55.
bad. That's not as bad as I thought.
55? Listen,
Yeah.
I don't even give that rating low. I don't go that low. I
55.
wouldn't even sit through a 55. I think
That's
our
not as bad
scales
as
are all different. This is why we do
Yeah.
up or down, JC, because our
No,
rating
I
our
understand
numbers
that.
mean nothing.
No,
If
I
I'm giving
get
it a
that.
77 and he's giving it a 55 and you're giving it 100, These three
It's
grandmas
all over the
are
place. It's all over the
I
place.
have a very small
But
amount of
that's
films
okay.
that I give 100,
That's okay, though.
and Coherence just happens to be one of them. Like, it's a very small amount
incoherence, if you ask me.
Incoherent.
because you can't have
We
like
did it.
We
We
Yeah.
did,
made a
guys.
podcast.
yeah. Thank you everyone for watching and listening to our rambles on this first edition. I hope you enjoyed.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Right.
Hit the
Follow
like
us on
button,
Twitch.
bros.
For me
Buy
on
Aussie
Twitch.
Bites.
Can I get a one? Can I
Buy
get a
Aussie
one in
Bites.
chat? Can I
You
get a one
could-
in chat?
You can find me on Twitch at
Can we get a
CallMeMrJC. I
W?
don't stream. We get a W. You can
Listen,
find Pragpro at Pragpro.
You know what
Pragpro.
this is? Pragpro.
Time,
And
where can they
Peepaw,
find
you
you?
can find Peepaw at Timegoestowaste.
Amazing.
And he doesn't stream either, but we're working on it.
I'm almost there. I'm almost there.
If you're watching this, you might be watching this on the new Three Grandmas Yap About Movies Twitch channel and YouTube
Maybe.
channel.
We'll
and
see.
Twitter feed and Instagram feed
Twitter
that JC
feed.
is going to dutifully make so he
Oh,
can
yeah.
stand his
falls on
creation,
JC.
Who's a-
distribute it.
He's like,
We
"Fuck
need
this."
a graphic designer. We need a graphic designer. Firstly, I'm gonna stop
Listen.
recording now, guys. This is the end of the podcast.
Distribution, boys. We need
Thanks for
distribution.
joining me.
I don't care how we do it.